Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing one final video today. And one is a little bit more personal. Maybe check this out. Ooh. Yeah. This one is about negative people, people that are misanthropic, people that are extreme introverts, and the like. And this is something that I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks. I've lost some friends as friends because they decided that it would be more beneficial for their whatever to not talk to me anymore, deleting me on Facebook, or just telling me off as a person. And as someone that studies a lot of self-help, new age kind of stuff, I've kind of realized that this is kind of a projection of their own inner turmoil towards another person. I'm guilty of that as well. I'm not, always the most positive person. I've had some misanthropy as far as what I've done, felt in my life. And at certain points in my life, I've attracted just that as far as other people as well. So I'm trying to say here is that people that are going to be in that type of mental trap are going to be in that mental trap, and there's nothing you can do about it. And people are predictable. For the most part, they're going to be in that mental trap for the rest of their lives, unless there's something that fundamentally they change about themselves. Now, people can change somewhat in life. I think I have changed as far as a lot of the things that I've done. And I used to be this type of person. I used to be like, oh, everybody sucks, and sometimes I still am that type of person a lot of the time, but the last 10, 15 years, I've dug myself out of a lot of those habits or those mental constructions. And unfortunately, I didn't pull people along with that. So a lot of times what will happen is you get pulled further down back into where you were before. And I'm not going to blame other people for that. It's all my fault. It's all my initiative to progress in life and go towards other things. And a lot of this stuff, it just, the friends that I have, that they're always at war with, and people think, I frame my life as like this epic struggle a lot of the time, and I like this theatrical kind of frame of mind when doing things and all this stuff. And I realize that is a big part of who I am. But I can see it from the other side and see how much hubris there is involved with that, honestly. So when people attack me, I did kind of invite it, because I realize that I've done this. I've been provocative for a reason. I'm like, like the attention or whatever. But I'm trying to tell people a message about things that are going on. They may not agree with me, but the fact that certain people have reacted the way they have just tells me more about their character rather than my message. And you have people, that apologize about who they are constantly. And I've had friends that are like that, or just get pulled into this thing, and they just, they're too stubborn to take a look at themselves, and that's the self-reflection angle really bothers me. They don't want to admit that they want to be, they are these negative misanthropic people that have a negative pessimistic view about the future. I don't have as much of a negative pessimistic view about the future as some of my friends or former friends have. So it does kind of create a clash of mindsets with regards to all that type of thing. So, but you got to consider that people, like I said before, are going to be pulled into their mental traps, and 5-10 years down the road, they will have, it's like I feel like I'm running out of treadmill, and even though I do have a treadmill right there, as people have mockingly commented on in some of the in some of my video comments. Um, some people have, anyways, I don't care about that. That's that's just ridiculous. But anyways, these people that they are running in circles. They're not. It's like I have to separate the criticisms of people and then take a look at the people that getting the criticisms, and that should always happen with anyone. And that's why I'm trying to make an effort not to criticize my friends I have now as much as I have in the past, because it is coming from a bad place. Anytime you say something negative about someone else, hey, Don Lemon might be the most tormented soul out there as far as a journalist, and that's why he's saying all these things on air. I'm not sure what he feels deep down the side, but there's something rotten in there that has him say what he has said, or other people like that. Negativity does not come from an a void, and I don't think it ever does. Especially people that are really misanthropic and or abuse themselves with drugs or alcohol, or mental processes, as people I've known in my life have had. So that's something really important. This is something really important to consider for people, because when you have had these friends that won't talk to you anymore. I mean, there's a certain friend that I have not talked to, but he hasn't come forward either. We have our disagreements, and it's like there's certain friends that I totally disagree with on like the current crisis, for example, that I'm talking to currently. I don't have to lose. We don't have to lose friendship because we disagree. But if we do, there's something majorly wrong in your character if you value a friendship that goes back 20 years or 25 years, if you devalue those friendships that you've had all out of, political disagreements or anything like that, it just means that you're, deep down inside, these people are really suffering. And it's undeniable to believe that, in my opinion. Now, it may not come on the surface, it may not be something that they say, outright, but you just know, and you take a look at their lives. And, I've let myself be judged and scrutinized by people that just aren't the best arbiters of reality in the past. I mean, even growing up, when I was picked on by these people that, they were just fuck ups. They would tease me and pick on me, and I held them in such high regard, like almost like idols in my life. And I feel like years later, they've served a couple of prison terms, and overdosed, or their partner did or something, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, why did I value these people's opinions so much? And something, some food for thought there. So like these current friends, they're just like, they don't, these current former friends, or whatever you want to call it, when I have to realize that they're not doing so well themselves, probably worse, in some ways worse than I am. It's like there were, a lot of people working the same job and are having the same troubles with women that, have tried to like piss on my parade, in the past. And, I talk about this with certain current friends, and they're like, yeah, and I hate the gossip thing, but, certain people gossip too. And I'm trying to get away from that in a lot of ways, but, when you gossip about someone that's gossiping, it's like pointing out hypocrites. It's like, well, this person says all this stuff all the time about other people. And, I've looked back on certain friends that have had this kind of mentality where they'll talk about other people all the time, criticize other people and their friends, their family. And I realize that, and you can cut people down a little bit in a humorous way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But at this point, cutting down people your loved ones, your friends, or your family, it really doesn't serve any purpose. So this particular person or people that I'm talking about, when they do this, they are trapping themselves in a hell that I am finally free of, honestly. So I don't know. It's just I'm just waxing philosophical about this whole thing with these friends and stuff. And people don't understand. I've been criticized a little bit about, oh, well, you were friends for such and such years. It's like, well, they can. I guess I have changed in many ways. I do not harbor the same type of thoughts that I did 20 years ago. I don't, like one of my ex-girlfriends said, you never change. Yeah, right. Well, you didn't know me 20 years ago, did you? Bitch. Anyways. No, I'm being a hypocrite. But yeah, so it's like people can talk shit. People can delete me on Facebook. But oftentimes, like I've noticed a lot of the people that got pissed off at my constant political stuff on Facebook or whatever and finally had enough and deleted me. A lot of them, one particular person, she said she didn't have any real life friends. I'm like, holy shit. And I noticed that she deleted me from Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? These people, these misanthropic metal or edgy kind of people that you make friends with because you're a hesher, and then you come to realize that a lot of people are very misanthropic and very caught into this like divisive kind of game that they're playing, people in this reality that we're living in. And it comes to pass that, and then, another person, a particular friend I've been friends with for 20 years, he's like, struggles all the time with mental health issues and chemical substance abuse. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hurt. I was, but it's like, well, if you're going to be a negative person and just constantly, cut on things. And it's just like he would post things during the peak of the current crisis and talking shit about people that were going to bars and all this stuff in this state. Oh my God, they're such idiots. Oh my God. And it's just like getting caught in that game. And this game, by the way, the last year and a half has been a total awakening for me as far as how caught in this misanthropic, negative, pessimistic, introverted thing I have been for a lot of my life. Because early 2019, I had been doing some stuff for a while, but early 2019, I had made a commitment to get certain parts of my life handled, and I did do a lot of stuff in 2019. Then I kind of settled down for a little bit with someone, and I had all these plans, and that's when 2020, what happened hit. I had done 2 or 3, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 open mic comedy things, and I was, jamming with someone, a singer, and I was trying to do a lot of stuff in my life to improve it, and my job was going well because it was a job that I didn't totally hate. And then that went to shit. And I had all these other things planned. I even wrote out more recently an alternative 2020, what it would have looked like, and I'm just like, man, but as time went on, it's like, well, you realize, unfortunately, a lot of these friends are almost like dead weight in a way. It's like they're constantly in a negative way of thinking, negative way of believing. They don't create in such a way that like when one of, a couple of my friends, we don't talk about other people that much. We talk about politicians sometimes, or a lot of the time lately, but, people in power, we punch up that doesn't mean, you know what I mean? We punch up instead of punch sideways or down. and we just make jokes and stuff, and people that can't be generative in that way and just want to cut people down. And maybe some of my friends are still kind of negative in some ways. Yeah, that's true. It's just the way it goes. But to be generative and to be overall positive about, maybe not in a macro way, maybe not in a, maybe in a macro way they're cynical, I happen to be in a macro way. I'm a little more optimistic, and then in a micro way, and what I mean is like my personal life, I'm a lot of times more pessimistic about versus the world, and then sometimes it's the opposite, and stuff like that. So, but these people that some of my friends, former friends, just, I mean, at the other end of the day, I kind of outgrew them because they were cycling over and over again in these certain realities that they were living in. And when I think about my current friends, is that they're striving for things better in life in whatever way, or they're just they have a lifestyle that's more conducive to honestly being more sociable, instead of having one friend, no real life friends, and stuff like that. And it just made me realize, like, I'm not gonna be pushed into that reality where they're homebodies, and just a lot of these people that I've known, and I've realized that a lot of it's probably my interests, unfortunately, that appeal to a lot of these types of people over the years. And it's just like attracts like. There was a period of time where I didn't go out at all, where I didn't go to a bar, or I didn't want to I had social anxiety and stuff. And it's just like now it's like, even before all this shitstorm started, I was like with my ex-girlfriend or whoever, like, go out places all the time, go to bars, coffee shops, open mic comedy, whatever. It's like, that's not, my life is not being a homebody. So my life is not being stuck in my misery for years on end, and cutting down other people who are my friends and how fucked up they are. Oh my God, our friend, like with this particular friend, he's like, oh my God, he's so fucked up, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, or this friend X or friend Z, it's like, oh, she's so fucked up. Yeah, he tells me, blah, blah. He's babbling about his fucking friend being fucked up with women or whatever for hours on end. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Oh, you did a demo. Okay, oh, great. Yeah. Work on the same job? Oh, great. Oh, you can't get along with anybody, so this maybe this sounds a little hypocritical, but you can't get along with anybody in a band situation. Actually, I do have a band with other people. I am in another project with other people, by the way, I should say. An ongoing project for a long time, but that's not my main project, but still. So, I can't, you're so toxic as a person that you can't be in a band with someone, blah, 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 because you're this or that about them. This is wrong about them. This is wrong about them. This is wrong about them. You're such a fucking critic. You can't even, crawl up. You can't even get your head out of your own ass, And that's the kind of people, those are the types of people that I used to perpetuate in my life, and I used to hang out with. And I don't believe in this Dr. Wayne Dyer, like, get those toxic people out of your life forever. I don't believe in that, but it's just like, it kind of happened that way. So I think a lot of the people that, even if you disagree with my political beliefs and what I post or whatever on wherever, the strength of character are the people that are sticking around. Those people aren't as fucked up as these people that are like, oh, Matt is he's gone off the deep end. Oh my God. People do believe that, I'm sure, out there, and that's fine. They can believe that. They can believe I've gone off the deep end, and Glenn Greenwald's automatic racist by being on Tucker Carlson or whatever, or he's crypto fascist or whatever because he doesn't like Joe Biden or something, like just crazy madness or whatever people believe, or and people can still believe that and not be friends with me, and that's my point, because I do have friends that believe the mainstream narrative about everything. I was just talking to them, talking about shows and stuff. You know, it's not like you have to ditch me as a friend just because I disagree with you. But if you can't deal with your own inner turmoil, you're going to spill it out on your friends and your other situations. So yeah, I'm coming from a place where the past, there's been a lot of people that have been in this toxicity of their own negativity and hatred and divisive traits of character. And that's kind of what, you know, leads me to this life path that I'm on now. And it didn't happen overnight, you know. I'm hanging out with people that want to have fun, want to meet new people, you know, want to do things. They don't want to sit down and complain about something, or, you know, and I think I've kind of come full circle in a lot of ways, because like about 10 years ago, I was in this kind of state too. And astrologically, it's the same too, because I'm just kidding. Well, actually it is, but anyways, it is very similar astrologically, but it's like I kind of have come full circle, because for a while, because of unspecified reasons, which I will not talk about on this platform, I wasn't going out, you know, and I was more misanthropic, and I was more insular and more isolated. And I really missed out on a lot of things, I think, you know, because, you know, I had friends, even some of the friends I'm mentioning in this video, you know, that went to shows and did stuff. And even though they were kind of a dickhead, self-admittedly too, which doesn't make it any easier to deal with these people, because it's like, oh, I know I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. Well, I'm gonna be an asshole now. It's like, what's the point of saying you're an asshole if you're not going to change it, unless you're being like me and like saying I'm an asshole, like with a smiley face, you know? Like, I mean, what's the point of saying, oh, I'm so mean to my friends and my loved ones? It's like, okay, all right, what are you going to do about it? Maybe try to listen to them and understand. Try to, you know, not be such a stubborn schmuck about everything. Like, someone gives you, you know, the person I'm talking about, he's the only one that can give advice. He's the only one that can say anything. If you talk about him, he'll never follow what you want, you know, what you want him to try or whatever. Oh, I don't need that. Oh, that won't work. You know, it's just so stupid. But yeah, I like people that have regenerative and funny, and, you know, like to have fun and laid back, you know, it's in a certain way, but, you know, have energy as well. I'm sick of this, like, misanthropic metalhead bullshit, goth or whatever bullshit, like fuck people, normies, you know. It's like, yeah, I do have that side, but these people are defined by that side a lot of the time. They're just always complaining, always talking shit, always, I mean, that's what this channel is about, is talking shit, but but still, you know, this is just one outlet, you know. That's not the rest of my day, you know. But like, always talking about shit about, but this is the difference, talking shit about other people they know. You know, my old roommate doesn't know Gavin Newsom, you know. He doesn't know Lori Lightfoot or fucking you know, one of the Cuomos or something. It's like, you know, so I mean, just because I talk shit about certain people, I mean, it doesn't, but that I don't know them. They're not my friends, you know. So that's kind of the thing with that. So like, I don't think this, you know, and that's one of the things about my life, is that been a lot of negative people. I've kind of accumulated some of those negative people over the years, but they, I don't know, a couple times mutually and a couple of times not mutually, we have grown, you know, grown sick of me for various reasons, and that's fine. You know, I'm going to continue to live my life and try to strive for better. They don't have to sit there and judge. I mean, they're going to sit there in judgment. They're judgmental people too. Very judgmental. Oh, there's this. And that's just the whole thing about all these people that, you know, that are out there judging people and calling them names and trying to, you know, and I'm doing the same thing, but at least, you know, and maybe it's not any better in a certain way, but at least it's people that are in power rather than, you know, your regular people on the street that don't know any better. You know, that's the difference. But they'll talk about shit about their friends for hours. And what's the point of doing? Is that fun? Is that supposed to be fun? And it used to give me a thrill to do that. You know, I grew up doing that with certain people, talking shit about whoever. And this, oh my God, this latest gossip. You know, but that's actually females that do that. It's kind of a bitch thing to do for a supposedly masculine heterosexual man, cisgendered, to be gossiping all the time. Isn't that kind of a bitch thing to do? You know, what you're supposed to do is have fun, fucking talk about cool things and make jokes. You know, some of them edgy or controversial sometimes, but man, this person, oh, I don't want to hear that. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. And yeah, some of it has been because of the current crisis, because like, if I have to wash my phone 5 times in front of a person just for them to feel safe, there's something mentally wrong with that person, isn't there? If I have to use like disinfectant in my phone like a couple of times, like even though I've been inside for a whole week, there's something wrong with that. You know, that there's something wrong with that picture. If a person's deleting you from Facebook and then re-adding you every couple of years because they get mad at you for a while and then they delete you, that reflects badly on them. I don't delete people anymore. I did delete someone recently, but I rarely delete people anymore because I may disagree with them, but I respect them in other ways or whatever. You know, I'm not going to do it. I don't respect a lot of the people in where I live right now. You know, I'm having a lot of problems reconciling a lot of things, a lot of the current events and stuff, and these people's just willingness to like just go along with everything without questioning, and that bothers me. But at the same time, I'm not going to just like delete them as a friend or not talk to them again because, oh my God, I disagree with them. That's called being a good example, because the people that are really toxic will do that kind of thing. The people that are really toxic will gossip about other people for hours on end. The people that are really toxic will, you know, gaslight you and just fucking lie or whatever. You know, I haven't had a lot of that, but you know, it's like a lot of bullshit you have to deal with people about. People are scum. Yeah. At least I'm saying that with a smile on my face. But yeah, I don't know what will happen with these people that, you know, whether or not they were friends in real life or not. You know, I don't know what, you know, with people that have been friends for like decades and stuff. And I thought I'd address that because I just thought it would just be a good catharsis about, you know, how I currently think about this. But that's fine if they choose to think this about me. That's their choice. I don't like people mischaracterizing me or taking my words out of context. Yeah, I mean, I did say, like, one of the things I said about the current crisis early on is I didn't believe it was real, because I don't know, you know, wag the dog and all that. I don't know. I don't know what I thought in the beginning. You know, it didn't mean I didn't believe it was like non-existent or something. I don't really know what I said, and then that really didn't put me on a good side of a certain person that I know. Probably still thinks back to that moment when I said that, which was like only a couple of days where I was like entertaining that possibility. So I get into a lot of weird stuff, you know, but it's at the same time he thinks he can't even go. He didn't even want to go out right now, like for anything. And I have friends that are going out to meetups and stuff, and this guy, you know, he won't even go out right now. Oh no, because hide in my home, even though he had, you know what, all fully, you know what. So it's like, he's that paranoid. He's not even, it's like he won't even listen to me. I read study after study. I watch article. It's just like he can't comprehend that he might be wrong in this regard. He won't even listen. He's like, and towards the end, the guy was a fucking douchebag to me. Okay, I'm just gonna say, you know, he said, I don't want to talk about that. I refuse to talk about anything like that with you. I refuse to talk about anything like this with you. Because he was so triggered by anything I'd say. It's like, why can't you talk about anything like that with me? You know? It's like, that's the way it goes, you know? I mean, even friends I have now, it's not like I have to censor myself. It's not, I don't want them to censor themselves. It's just, maybe it's a better thing to do is not, you know, talking about that. Maybe just because we have such fundamental differences. But in this case, any mention of anything would trigger them. Anything. And I can't stand that. I can't stand being, you know, pushed back like that and just treated like a piece of shit. Now, what is going to happen to these people? These negative people? I don't really have to say much. I mean, certain people in my life, they did not end up the best. And this is not like some satanic curse like LaVeyan style. I'm just saying, if they continue the path they're on, I should say. I'm not going to say that they can't change. Obviously, it's very difficult to change. But where are these people going to end up with their attitude that they have? It's just like a bully. You know they're going to get their ass kicked eventually. You know, it's like, you know, if a kid's a nerd and he gets picked on by a bully, the best thing you can tell them is that one day they're going to bully the wrong person. They'll get their ass whooped, you know? I mean, that's kind of, it's karma, you know, the karma, it's all karma. I'm not sitting here like expecting, oh, well, so-and-so is going to end up miserable and alone at age 50. Well, it's looking pretty close for that person. But anyways, you know, it's like, you can't really predict or pontificate upon how bad someone can end up in these situations. But at the same time, you can look at your past history and say, oh, well, I had this bully when I was a kid, or this friend that gave me shit, and look at how they ended up. They're miserable now in their life, and they're, you know, all alone or whatever, you know, and just all you know, they could have opened their mind a little bit to other types of thinking or other types of realities, you know, and tried to like entertain the possibility that another way of thinking is superior, instead of shooting down other ideas and shooting down me suggesting these things. I mean, it's like for example, I was to talk about dating. I know someone that was another person I used to know. I may or may not have has been mentioned so far. He's like, I'll only date women like 38 to 45 and this is an exaggeration, of course. 38 to 45, no kids and doesn't want kids. No kids, doesn't want kids. Oh, how's that working out for you, dude? How's that going to work out for you, having that kind of limited frame of what you want to date, who you want to date? Don't be serious with anybody else. Oh, she's crazy. And this guy is always talking about how all these women he dates are crazy and we didn't get along. It's like, how many, dude, like, when are you going to like have a normal relationship? Maybe it's you, motherfucker. Just like the Sex Pistols say, the problem is you, not me. I have my own problems, but I'm not me. I'm not your fucking problem. Yeah, coffee grinds on the table are a problem if I live with you, but these problems and all this stuff is not me. It's not my fault. It's not fucking me. So it's just like, you take a look at these people's like limiting beliefs and limited beliefs, you know, and you just think, well, what the hell, you know? And maybe my beliefs are limited too, because I'm just like, I prefer whatever, and you know, that's bad, but I'm not like completely closed to things though. That's the thing that makes me different. And then certain things happen in my life that happen to like coincide with my preferences, so to speak, in a way. Like just to give an example, like, well, I happen to have had the last, like, just to go back to relationships, like the last all the last dates and women I've dated have been I think they've all been under 30. I think one was like, wait, no. Yeah, I think so. So it's like, maybe one was like 34. I don't remember. That's what it's been. It's not like I have to, like, I just concentrate on that or talk to, it's just what's around, you know, but I don't mind it, you know. But this person I'm talking about has such limited thinking, so stubborn. Oh, everything has to be, this one way in life. And it's like, that's your fucking problem. That's going to lead to more shit in the future, And same with other friends like that who have stopped talking to me. So fuck them. They're not going to do themselves any good. Why should I sit there and feel bad that they've rejected me? I don't care. I mean, I do care. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing this video, but I shouldn't care. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter anymore. It's just so stupid, and it's just like people that want to, and people that are, there's certain people that are continuing to, to do things. I suspect possibly because of my change of opinion as far as as far as politics, which is really not that different than 10 years ago, as I've said previously, because it's not. Maybe I'm a little more talkative about it, Oh my God, well, Matt, I never really knew that you thought those things. My brain is fried. Yeah, I didn't talk about it as much, right? Yeah, I believe that there's a huge fucking, yeah, maybe I wouldn't call it cabal of people trying to gain power and money and wealth and stuff. It's just a basic fucking premise. It's not that, it's pretty demonstratable in reality. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. And they're not even conscious of it a lot of the time. That's the difference between conspiracy theories and theorists and me, is I don't believe they're all like consciously collaborating. It's just a confluence of factors, to quote a certain problematic person who's banned from Twitter right now. Not Trump, by the way. So yeah, it's really tough to reconcile these ideas, but I'm not going to be caught in this mental trap of the times that I was at my worst were when things were bad, and I had friends, but they chose to go their separate way. Some of these people, and so these musical collaborators who every couple of years they, so-called musical collaborators. I'm not talking about anybody I'm currently collaborating, by the way, just so if anybody's watching this. Certain musical collaborators are like, yeah, man, let's record a song. Oh, I can't do it now. Oh, I can't do it. It's like, then why fucking say that you can? Then why? It's like you're the ultimate prick tease musically. It's like, and these people, I'm sure some of these people have been questioning my political stances lately too. I still consider myself a liberal on the left. It's not, I haven't strayed too from the reservation too far. I just see this as a extrapolation. A lot of the things I say, as far as that goes, and I'm cut down in my politics, anyways, in public sphere, other than like these videos and stuff. So I don't know if it's related to that, but I do notice that people don't give a shit, as far as he's like this person that wants to collaborate every few years. I want to do that song, man. Then do it. How long have I known you? 20 years? I've known people 20 years that have said that they would collaborate with me that didn't. Well, fuck you then. I should just fucking delete you. Anybody that does that to me, just these people, just fucking just say, I will never do a song for you for your project. I will never, just fucking come on and say it. But somehow you want to every couple of years. I'm just dissing a lot of people. I'm being exactly what I'm, accusing others of in this video, but it is what it is. It's a paradox. So yeah, that's the way it goes. I'm going to try not to focus on such things. And I think when people are genuinely concerned about me and my mental state, when they genuinely care about all the rabbit holes that have gone down, especially the last year and a half, 2 years, that comes from more of compassion than some of these people that are just, have just completely abandoned me, that, that does come from I think partially sense of compassion. There's certain people I know that they probably are sick of me or whatever, but that's fine. I mean, if my like I said previously, if my warnings about all these things happening in the future don't come to pass, I won't feel bad. I will feel like we dodged a bullet. That's the whole thing with all my political stuff. It's like, well, and I'm already seeing a positive change. I'm seeing people waking up every day to, like, just saying no more bullshit, no more of this corruption. Just look at the, as far as politics, look at the AOC reaction, like the tax the rich dress at this million dollar gala, stuff like that. People are just like, what the fuck is going on up there, this with these elites. So yeah, I'm happy about what's going on, actually. And I think people will resist things that are bad. So I'm a little more positive than I was, I think, in like 6 months ago about all this stuff, because I would never have expected the lab theory to be so mainstream. Never. If you told me a year ago that people would be talking about that and, like, actually, like, in the Washington Post and shit, I would have called you. I would have called you a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting day we're living in. Anything can change. Anything can go one way or the other. We're in the age of error, after all, astrologically. Supposedly, we were in the age of Earth for 200 years. I don't know if I believe that or not. But yeah, so error goes just all over the place instead of Earth staying there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't. People that don't want to talk to me or don't want to talk to me as a human being and try to accept me what I believe the way I am, aren't real friends. They aren't. Period. And yes, I have been guilty myself of not being true friends to some of my former friends. I don't react the best, and they take it personally. I don't react to things they do in the way that they want me to. When they react completely different about, like, for music, for example, there's friends that are listening to music, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. And how do I feel when I hear that? I want to fucking, I get pissed off, when people say that. It's a little bit better when people praise certain aspects and then kind of have a more nuanced thing, but when people are apathetic, I do get pissed off. So I can understand why they're like that, or certain things, certain friends that I started hanging out with more around 10 years ago that probably, just was a sign of me being a different person at that point, because they're just, and maybe the pendulum swung too far in some ways. Like, if you're going out to, like, 10 years ago or whatever, if you're going out to college bars with, and then, but you're a metalhead just to hit on girls, and you're more excited about that than going to a metal show, maybe that's a little far. And I'll admit it, I'll admit that went, I went too far the opposite way, like thinking that would be some miracle that would resolve everything, that if I just went to the right bar or whatever, and things would get, oh, I have to go to these bars, and hit, and try to occasionally hit on girls, which obviously it didn't do enough, because someone, or whatever. I can't just go to these chode metal shows, these sausage fest metal shows anymore, blah, 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 And I probably should have gone to some of those shows, and I probably should have hung out with more more different circles of friends, instead of thinking, oh God, that's a bunch of metal chodes. I got to be this pickup artist guy or something. There's all these weird mental constructions in my head that I had, and I'll admit it. And then I just felt like, one of the things of going to shows is just like a lot of it's music related too. It's like a lot of mediocre bands that are around. I'm just being completely honest. Maybe mine is too. I don't know. My bands are probably mediocre to a lot of people too. So, going to these these shows and stuff was just like, I don't know. I just was burnt out on all that, and I just wanted to do something different for a while, and I guess maybe the pendulum swung too far, and I'd rather be around certain types of people or certain types of women or whatever, and just the normie thing or whatever, like, in my head is this, like, such and such age, such and such type of person. I'm not like, doesn't aesthetically appeal to me the best. So, certain friends kind of got shut out of the mix. At the same time, I go to, a bunch of nerds and role play, which are even the extreme end of the, whatever. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy that people probably didn't expect for me to start hanging out with certain types of people, or not hang out with former friends that I'd been friends with for years. But there's certain types of relationships that weren't balanced. When you're asking, and I acknowledge that I used people, not consciously, but oh, can you give me a ride? Can I borrow money? Just all this stuff when I was more fucked up myself. I would do that, and I feel bad about that. And the karmic payback is probably a bitch, but that's the way that things have gone. That's the way things have evolved. But for the most part, people do outgrow one another a lot of the time. And if these people that I talk about in this video continue to go down the path that they were on last I saw them or talked to them, or actually, I know that they're still doing some of the same things, it's not going to bode well for them. Just like you date a woman and she tells you all this fucked up stuff about all her relationships, you can extrapolate that the future will not be good for her. And then she dumps you, you're like, well, and you see her on Tinder again, you're like, oh, okay. Well, looks like things are like the ultimate revenge, like I said, is like if you see an ex-girlfriend that dumps you and she's with someone that's hotter than you and smarter than you and better than you and quote unquote whatever that means to you. Of course, that's subjective in a lot of ways, but that's the ultimate revenge. If I have a girl right here in a month that's hotter than all my ex-girlfriends put together, and I have my own business and or whatever, and I'm successful in life, capitalism, whatever, capitalist bullshit, that's fine. I will feel good. I will laugh. And then there's certain people in my life that have surprised me too in the last year, actually. And I will say this, I'll say this about them, that they surprised me that they had such tolerance and passion for people that disagreed with them, including, people and that I doubted before and I talked shit about in the past myself. I was surprised by what they did. And they're a good example to live by, because these people, like certain people that certain people that I will not mention who they are, they accept people that are different. They are surrounded by people that are different, literally living areas where people are 100% opposed to a lot of the stuff they believe in, but they still are friends with these people. They still are accepting of family members that have a different opinion about certain things, where when the rest of the world will say, you should stop talking to those types of people, these articles that are coming out and stuff. And I've been surprised by these people, and I see these people as an inspiration now. Certain people that I'm talking, the certain person I'm talking about, and his whole thing that I think he's come around to see me like a better person because of this, and I've given, I'm. It's kind of like my time to give him accolades after having my differences with him for many years. This person that I'm talking about. So people can change. It's harder to measure who is going to change. I think the more negative a person is, the more fucked up they are, the harder it's going to be. So, you can extrapolate ex-girlfriend, like I saw like an ex that was like still jumping, still monkey branching, as they call it, year after year, or someone that's still, maybe that's what, that they like it, I mean, maybe these people that I talk about love living in misery, love judging other people and gossiping and working the same entry-level job. I'm not even an entry level anymore myself. I'm just saying, like, working the same entry level job that makes very little pay because they're so scared of doing something else because they think they can't do anything else. That's just fucked, I've always thought like maybe it's harder for me to do other things, but I can do a lot of things and I can do anything if I really put my mind to it. I still believe in back to the future quotes and like platitudes for life, you know. At this age, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But these people, so limited, so full of themselves, inadvertently they're full of themselves, you know. A lot of times people say, people don't really talk about this because now it's cool to be an introvert and now it's cool to be shy, but there is a very selfish component of this misanthropic, self-absorbed person that's obsessed about whatever, about a virus, like making you watch your phone, or like, you know, women, oh, all my girlfriends are crazy, or, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, and I hate my job year after year, but they don't do anything about it. People like that. It's just, these people are, you know, they're fucked, you know. Like one of my friends has a 43-year-old virgin friend, and he's like, me and some other friends were talking about this guy. I'm like, that's not me, by the way. Just before, like, like I used to get these trolls that comment on my videos. Your virgin lives in your mom's basement. Okay, I guess this is a basement. I don't know. This is called a second floor apartment, as last I checked. So, I mean, I lived in an attic for a long time, my friend's attic, but yeah, these people, you know, people that are, I mean, just imagine trying to navigate that. If you're a 43-year-old virgin, I mean, what it's going to take for that guy to change is a lot. It would be a miracle. And they would have to have a lot of initiative to change that part of their life. Just thinking about it, it's like, okay, first of all, this is kind of, you know, I'm just blathering at this point. I'm going to make this an hour probably. But, you know, think about like what it would take to like get out of that trap at 43 years old. And it's pretty frightening. Like, either your first encounter, you'll go too fast or too slow, or not at all, if you know what I mean. Like, that's just, you know, like at that age especially. And it would just be like such a difficult struggle. There's got to be a lot of other things that are adding to that, unfortunately. So, I mean, I almost would recommend like getting some hookers and like, you know, like making, you know, just doing crazy stuff to try to get out of that. Not crazy illegal stuff. I mean, just like making a lot of female friends, just like trying to understand women and stuff, and like just going through a lot of shit, you know, to get that done. But it would be such, you know, but my whole point is like people are caught in their mental traps. You know, they're caught in their mental, you know, I mean, I'm actually lucky to have gotten out of some things in the last year and a half or 2 years that I was in, you know, in a certain way. Of course, I could do much better, and that's what I'm trying to do, but, and, well, you'll never do better. You'll always be the same. Like this guy on Facebook I deleted months back. I know I don't delete people that often, but he's like, you'll never leave your town. It's like, how the fuck do you know that? You know? But it was pretty bullshit, and, you know, and it was related to something else that I'm not going to talk about in this video. So I've done enough videos about that, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, people are caught in their mental traps and their mental states. And you can almost look back and laugh at people. And, you know, it sounds a little vindictive, but it's like, I mean, people that have really, even when I was growing up, people that have fucked with me or fucked me over, some of them aren't even here. And I'm not trying to laugh, but like the habits that cause them to inflict such pain, the mental habits eventually caught up with them, is what I'm trying to say. And anything's going to catch up with you. You know, I mean, my problems have caught up with me too, you know? So that's just some things to think about, things to boil in your mind and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, that's about all.